I would like to start this video by thanking everyone who has donated to this channel and to help me get my PayPal straight in order. I'd also like to thank a lot of Matt's subs who really made that possible, and welcome all of my new subscribers from Matt's channel. The second thing I'd like to say is 5,000 subs. Wow. I was shocked when my channel hit 500 subs. I didn't think that many people would be interested in what I'm actually doing. So with that said, let's just get right into this, because this one's going to be a doozy. And it's kind of like most of my videos, it's going to be all over the place. But it does have an ending to it. If you want to stick around for that, I have no idea how long this is going to be. The way I understand this whole thing that's going on is through the oral tradition, the mythology, the alchemy, the different mythologies around the world, especially the Greek, in combination with the Arabic. Because in linguistics, I've proven this, you can go back and watch my older videos, that ancient Aramaic and ancient Greek are just flipped. They're the same freaking language. They're just, the Aramaic is written from the right to the left, and the Greek is written from the left to the right, with all vowels omitted. There are no vowels to L. No vows to God. Take no oath. No vows. And that's how it's done in the languages. But in the oral tradition, or the stories themselves, there's so much to know. So I just want to start with this one, and we're going to move through this and the Bible, keeping in mind who all the characters are based on astrology. Zeus, which is Jupiter, wasn't always the king of the Greek gods. And no, he wasn't. Uranus, or we would say Uranus, was the first generation of gods. He was the king of the first generation of gods. We know Uranus out of alchemy as the conscience mind, and Jupiter, Zeus, as desire. So the first king of the gods was the conscious mind. And we recognize that it's not Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto do not rule any of the houses of the Zodiac, but they used to. They don't anymore, because since the age of Sagittarius, actually, Zeus, as we know him, doesn't come into being until the age of Gemini. You venerate whatever is above. So Zeus, desire coming into being. But Uranus, the conscious mind, first generation of God, but he was overthrown by Kronos. Kronos, Saturn, represents the crown chakra, or the higher self, who was his son, S-U-N. Saturn, Kronos, time, the crown chakra, was father to desire, and the Olympians, which would be the other planets and chakras of the body. And he too was overthrown by his son. Even after Zeus took charge, succeeding generations and different races of gods still competed for control of Olympus, or Mount Olympus, which seems to be the hub. It's the hub. We would know Mount Olympus as the Zodiac, or I refer to it as the script, which is what this video is actually going to be about. It's the script. Now, the script, we are told, is good for edification. All script is good for edification. But if you don't know how to read, or you've been taught to misread and cast spells upon yourself, knowledge without understanding is it's worse than dangerous. It's deadly. Sorry about that. I had to pause. I had an alarm going off. I forgot to turn it off. I got up a few hours early. We have really bad weather here today, and the thunder just threw us out of the bed. Alright, let me pull my train of thought about. I was talking about the script, which is where all of this comes for me. When I first unlocked alchemy as astrology, the first book that opened up to me were the religious books, especially the Bible, which is, like I said in the beginning, where this is going to go. But I want to talk about what Zeus or Jupiter did, being in control of Olympus or the script, the Zodiac. Whoever, well, at this time, I consider this writing Age of Gemini. So during the Age of Gemini, Zeus took control of the script, Olympus, and whoever's in control writes the past and the future because they redo the Zodiac. The Zodiac we currently have in Western tradition is an amalgamation of different Zodiacs from around the world. There's nothing authentic or original about it. It's just a scribbled script. Let me find the words to explain this. When Zeus was in control of the Zodiac, in the mythologies we're told, like the story of Hercules and the story of Perseus and Andromeda. These were mythologies, and Zeus, they use this terminology of Zeus, cast them into the heavens. He put them in the Zodiac. They now lived on Mount Olympus in the sky. Many different words for the Zodiac throughout the different languages. So, whoever's in control of the Zodiac controls the script. Since right after 9/11, I have been talking about what they're doing in the Capitol building, in the rotunda of the Capitol building in D.C. That was a Zodiac. It was called the apotheosis of George Washington, or George Washington being cast in the script and going to Mount Olympus. And they have yet to reveal that to the public. I'm sure you could probably go there and look at it. I'm sure it's probably finished by now, but I find nothing about it online. I would say about over 5 years ago, all the information on it just shut down. Pretty much when Google came in and started scrubbing everything, all of that just disappeared. You can find where they were renovating the rotunda, but it doesn't reveal anything. Less information is available now rather than more. So unless somebody's been there and taken a picture of it, I don't know if we're going to get to see it or when the unveiling will be. But it is their attempt at a new script. I'm quite aware of that. And there'll be a lot of ceremony, ritual, sacrifices. Our powers that be, they serve all of these gods. They demean the good gods and degrade them, but they exalt themselves. The gods they serve are exalted. We have the scripts. We just don't know how to read them. So, let me take us somewhere else. Alright, this is the King James Bible, authorized version, Matthew chapter 13. The same day Jesus went out of the house and sat by the sea. Jesus is Aquarius, and to sit by the sea is kind of where we are right now in history. We are between Pisces, the sea, and the house of Aquarius. And great multitudes were gathered unto him. Now, we are told, he says in another verse, that if I be lifted up, I shall draw all men unto me. So when Aquarius rises in the spring equinox, everybody will be venerating Aquarius and Leo, Saturn, the higher self, and the sun. Get ready for sun worship in the next. It's not going to be sun worship so much because we're not going to be in a stage of believing, but in a stage of knowing. It's about understanding what the sun is, how it's kind of like the master control program or the CPU. Everything has to go through it. Whatever zodiac sign rises in the east, the sun changes, and it starts emanating the frequency from that sign for the next couple thousand years. So it changes the DNA here and on the other planets. So great multitudes were gathered unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, or look. We would say, look, see. He's telling you to use your inner eye. I'm always talking about using that inner vision that you have and start seeing this with your mind's eye. When you do that, you're talking directly to your subconscious. Look, a sower went forth to sow. Sower, that's us, really. All we can do is sow. I am against evangelicals. They don't know the book, that they know not who they worship. They just don't. And when you try to save someone's soul, you are trying to do the Holy Spirit's job. All we do is just plant seeds. That's all we can do. We don't need one plants, another come along and tends, and a third come along and harvest. And we try to do all the jobs. Just plant and go on. Nature takes care of the rest. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the waysides, and the fowls came and devoured them up. A seed that falls by the wayside, the fowls are the birds. Those are the air signs. And when a bird eats a seed, it goes poops it out somewhere else. And bird guano is rich in nitrates. And therefore the seed is fertilized and it'll grow somewhere else. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, but because they had no deepness of earth, no root. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, because they had no root, and they withered away. I see a lot of what's going on with humanity right now is we're being all uprooted. They're migrating people all over the world to different places. They're taking you from your homes, your families, no roots. You don't know your genetic history. You don't know your genealogies. So you are stony. Another stony. Stony is recognized as the earth signs. You have mutable earth, which is kind of like quicksand, sand shifting under your feet. A stony earth would be fixed. Stone is stable, so that would be Taurus, fixed earth, which is Venus, the heart. You have to beware of a stony heart. The stony place is the heart. So understand that especially you people who are Taurus, you are subject to that more than others, or if you have Venus in Taurus. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, because they had no root, and they withered away. And some fell among the thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. Thorns are like the temptations in life. You get an easy life. You don't have a lot of, it's the distractions, the thorns, trials and tribulations. You've got like here in America, we got, the more technology we have, the less time we have, when we were told it would be the other way around. That advancements in technology would give us more times with our family, and it doesn't. It gives us less. But other fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some an 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 34-fold. He who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And we've talked about seeing with your ears and listening with your eyes. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever haveth, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that he hath. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because they, seeing, see not, and hearing, hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, saying, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. That's the whole world right now. For this people's heart is waxed gross, their ears are full of dull hearing, their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. You got to go through the heart to get to the thalamus, to open the pineal gland. Blessed are your eyes, for they see, your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many righteous prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When one heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth not, then come the wicked one, and catches away that which was sown in his heart, that which he received the seed by the wayside. And the wicked one is just this whole age. We've talked about the mutable cross. The powers that be are Mercury and Jupiter. And we're in the death of Peter, or Jupiter. So we're in upside down world. Peter was crucified upside down. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same as that he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receive it. He that yet hath he not root in himself, but endureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, by and by he is offended. Take it personally. He also that received the seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. It's sterile. It's unfruitful. But he that received the seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, and understandeth it. Remember, to understand, you have to stand under. And when you stand under, you must look up. Which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some an 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Another parable he put forth, saying unto them, The kingdom of heaven, remember, heaven is the air signs. There are three. Mutable heaven, Gemini. That is what I call under the dome. It's our basic atmosphere. Then you have the fixed heavens, Aquarius, which is the Zodiac. The stars, the sun belt and the moon belt, where the planets go, the El Dorado, the golden road. Then you have Libra, which is cardinal air or heaven. I call that beyond the stars, or beyond the Zodiac. The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man. There's your first clue, Aquarius, which sowed good seed in his field, his time, his house. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. So we've got the good seed, and we've got the tares that look like the good seed. They look like wheat. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, Didst thou not sow good seed in thy field? From whence hath it tares? And he said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while we gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. But let them grow up together until the harvest. And you know, when you get close to harvest, those tares are choking that wheat down. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares. This teaching in the church that the rapture's coming and you want to be on the first train out of here, don't believe that. Because the tares are gathered first, and bind them in bundles to burn them. So the first gathering is not the good one. They will be gathered to burn. But gather the wheat into my barn. What is the barn? What is the barn? Anybody have a clue? The tares are going to be gathered and thrown into a fire. But the wheat's going to be gathered into the barn. The barn is the Zodiac. It's the Zodiac. They're going to be part. The wheat is going to be part of the coming Zodiac. Another parable he put forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air, again, you're talking about the age of Aquarius, or the souls of Aquarius, come and lodge in the branches thereof. The people of that age are the people of South America and North America. The color is red. So it is the red man, are the birds. The language of the birds is the language of the Native Americans, North and South America. Also, India has a language of the birds. They were prominent in the age of Gemini, air sign. Another parable spake unto them, The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, or yeast, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. When you put a little bit in, it takes over the whole body. And that's what Aquarius is going to be about. When you say the kingdom of heaven, you're literally saying the age of Aquarius. And the sun, which this woman here, which a woman took, which is Virgo, and it was hidden in 3 measures of meal. The yeast, or the spirit, the rising, the leaven. All these things, let's go to 34. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which is spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. This is not the earth or the planet or whatever, this eyeball that we live on, but world is an age. It's an age. So it's been kept secret since the foundation of the age of Pisces. Then Jesus sent the multitudes away and went into the house. He's back in Aquarius. And his disciples came and saying unto him, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. And he said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The man and the son and the sign of the man. The good seed comes from Aquarius. The field is the world, or the age. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, the air signs, but the tares are the children of the wicked one, the age of Pisces. We're going to talk about the wicked one in a minute. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the angels. and therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire. So shall it be in the end of this age. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of the teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to let him hear? You need to really take a second look at that. The word righteous, this is Greek. We get it from the Greek. But in the Hebrew, it's called the Zodiac. The righteous are the Zodiac. And Zodiac is a name of Jupiter, Peter. And there are many righteous that sit in those pews of those churches. It is those at the pulpit, at the altar, that are the evil ones. Jupiter, Zeus, starts off as a good god, but then he's crucified upside down, which has put Mercury in power. So money and commerce rule over with desire. The desire has become perverted. People used to desire happiness and home and family and camaraderie, and but now it's just sheer greed. The kingdom is dying upside down, but that's why they use the word their Father, and why you're told, hey, you better pay attention to what I just said. He who hath ears to hear, let him hear. So when the wicked are taken away, the Jupiterians that are actually the Zodiac will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father at the end of the age. Again, the kingdom of heaven, back into Aquarius, is like unto a treasure hidden in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hides it, and for joy thereof goeth and sell all that he hath, and buyeth that field. And the treasure of Aquarius, kingdom of heaven, is knowledge. It's the knowing. It's the opening of the pineal gland. It heals the body. It heals the DNA. It does everything. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant seeking goodly pearls, who, when he hath found one pearl of a great price, went and sold all that he had to bought it. A pearl is a star, and that one star of great price is Fomalhaut, or Thalem. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind. The kingdom of heaven will have the 144,000, or 12,000 from every tribe and tongue on the earth. Everybody will be, all races, all birds will be represented in Aquarius. Whosoever, which when it is full, they drew to the shore, sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the age. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be weeping and gnashing of the teeth. And Jesus said unto them, Have ye understood all these things? They said unto him, Yea, Lord. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasures things old and new. Remember, the treasure is knowledge. So you're going to get the new knowledge and the old knowledge. There are two ledgers. To have knowledge, you must know the ledgers. And it came to pass, or the accounting, the account books, right? And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he came into his own country, remember, he's at the seashore. He's between Pisces and Aquarius. And when he came into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue. In the end, we have the battle of Gog and Magog. Synagogue is, sin is the name of the moon. So I call it the moon school. You're going to have a battle between Western astrology and Eastern astrology. Occidental and Oriental. Insomuch that they were astonished and said, Whence hath this man this wisdom? These mighty works are words, spells. Is this not the carpenter's son? That word is builder. We would know it today as mason, not, there is no wood in the desert. You would starve to death trying to be a carpenter. He was a stone builder, and went to Egypt to become a stonemason. Is this not the mason's son? Is not his mother called Mary, or the constellation of Virgo gives birth to the next stage? And his brethren James and Jose and Simon and Judas and his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things? And they were offended in him. But Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. And he did mighty works there because of their unbelief. So where there's unbelief is where you're going to find the mighty works. No need for it around people that believe, huh? No need for miracles there. So the whole point of this, reading this, was about what happens to us. What is the barn? It's our stories. It's our script. They're already collecting them. Everything that you're putting on the internet is going into the cloud. It's part of the script. I'm not sure what this place is. If I had to define it in terms in English, from birth, coming into this body, I was quite aware this sun was mechanical in nature. Studying alchemy and astrology and all this, I've come to understand the earth as the third eye, and it's closed. It's the universal third eye. The sun is the right eye, the moon is the left eye, and that makes the earth the third eye, and it's calcified. It's got limestone all over it. They build these big cathedrals out of granite and limestone, especially, which is calcification, to prevent the third eye from opening. It's like God is in a dream. He's asleep. We're told the story in Genesis that God created the heavens and earth and all therein, and man in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. We're still in that day. The third eye is closed. Our crown chakras, we have no crowns. We haven't had any crowns as humanity sit for 10 ages. Those 10 tribes that went over the Caucasus Mountains. The whole earth. You can tell this story. The Jews, or Hebrew, like to claim this story as its own, but it's told in every tradition around the world. All races are broken up into 12, and every one of them have a constellation in the heavens. We're all born on one of those 3 crosses. Of course, being born to me is death, and dying is being born. But we are told the end from the beginning, and that is also true in your natal charts. People ask me, what is my death? I'm not going to do that for you. It's your job to carry your cross. I'm going to give it to you and explain it to you. But if you want to know that, you have to start at the beginning. Now, let me pause here, because it's fixing to start getting a little crazy. This is the book of Revelation. Again, I'm using the King James Version. I'm just going to hit on some things here in the beginning, and we're going to jump to another chapter. But keep in mind, what we were talking about were Zeus, or Jupiter, takes control of the Zodiac, and he puts the heroes in the heavens, Perseus and Hercules, and tells their story, so it's remembered through all time, to designate the constellations of actually Mars, which are Perseus in Aries and Hercules in Scorpio. You got to know where these people belong. So that's why we're going to start right here. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which shortly must come to pass. And he sent it and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. So who is John in the Zodiac? Well, we're told that 3 people showed up at the crucifixion. Mother Mary, the other Mary, and John, the only apostle that showed up at the crucifixion. And they were at his feet. And you have the constellation of Cancer, which is on one side of Leo. The Regulus is the nail in the feet of the Messiah. So you have his mother, which is the divine feminine, Cancer, the beloved mother, the moon, ruled by the moon, Cancer on one side, Mother Mary, and then you have the other Mary, or the woman with the alabaster box, as Virgo. And you had John the Beloved, which is represented by Leo, which is ruled by the sun. So when we say John, or the Gospel of John, or the Book of Revelations, or even the writings in the Nag Hammadi, we know that it is signified by the sun in Leo. And the sun in Leo bears record of the Word of God and the testimony of Aquarius and all things that he saw. Again, the Sphinx is the masculine axis of the fixed cross. It is Aquarius, the man, and Leo, the lion. It is Jesus John, or Thalem John. I don't like calling it Jesus because if I had to say, that's not the right word. It was changed. The word from the Aramaic, they called him Thalem. I've also proved that. But we're going by, this is definitely a spell that's been cast and rewritten. Blessed is he that readeth and hear the words of this prophecy. That means something in the future. And keep those sayings that are written therein, for the time is at hand. There are 2 hands on the clock. John to the 7 churches which are in Asia. Well, this is not for the Western world. The churches in Asia are all Oriental. They are to where the Western church is Occidental. He's talking to the Eastern Zodiac. He's talking about an Eastern Zodiac, not Western astrology. But they are called the sinners because it's based on a lunar calendar. So basically what he's saying is here, even before, between the wheat and the tares, I'm not coming for the sinners. I meant for the righteous. I'm not coming for the Dazak. I'm not coming for the Jupiterians. I'm not coming for the Europeans. I'm coming for the sinners. Jupiterians, at least in the Western Church with the New Testament, are already in sun worship. The whole world has been under lunar worship since the flood. In the next age, it's really, we have no need of the sun and the moon, for I am with you, which is our crown chakras. We'll all have our own crowns. So we'll have no need of the sun or the moon. They'll be there. We'll use them, but we won't be in a position that we'll die without them. So, again, just like I've told you that these books were not written for you. They're written by the elite, for the elite. Because Me and you couldn't read until the last 100 years. It was only for the clergy and the kings, the royals, what they call themselves, or whatever race is in control of the Zodiac and the scripts, which right now happens to be Europe. So this, again, in my opinion, is not written for us. Grace be unto you. But it's written for everybody if you want to understand the knowledge. But the message to the 7 churches are to the 7 chakras of the Oriental tradition. Grace be unto you. Grace is unto them, because grace is part of the age of Pisces. Grace and mercy have no place in Aquarius. Karma rules there. You will reap what you sow. Grace and mercy are not very much longer. Grace be unto you and peace from he which is, and which was, and which is to come. This is the timeline. Well, everything that we're going to be told is what is, what was, and what is to come. And from the 7 spirits which are before his throne. When we are ruled by Aquarius, or our crown chakra, the higher self, all of the other chakras come into a line. It fixes them all. Anything you have retrograde in your body or not working properly, the crown chakra straightens all that out. We get the best of all the planets and all the chakras when they are ruled by the higher self, unlike this age where we are ruled by desire and money. And from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and the Prince of kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, and washed us from our sins in his own blood. He has made us kings and priests. You get your crowns. Unto God and his Father, to him be glory and dominion forever. The word Amen should not be there. Look, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, he's going to come in the eastern sky on the spring equinox. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, he which is, which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. Alpha, the Aleph, is the fixed cross. It was the first constellation. It's also the last. So I am number 1, and I am number 13. The beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation, and in the kingdom and patience of Jesus Christ, was in the isle that is called Patmos, for the word of God, and for the testimony of Jesus Christ. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice of a trumpet. This is how it always happens. When you open your third eye, you hear the voice coming behind you. And it's a very loving but extremely authoritative voice, saying, I'm the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia. Of course, we didn't have a Western tradition when all of this was written, but this is the beginning of the Western tradition. I'm not going to go into all of this. I will do the breakdown on the symbology in another video, but I wanted to state that to let you know who this is for. And now we're going to jump. I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to Revelation chapter 12. This could get a little bit controversial, but I'm going to break this one down. Now, to start with, there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, There's only one woman in heaven, and to be clothed with the sun means that she's in power in the spring equinox. So we're talking about the age of Virgo, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. She ruled the Zodiac. She's clothed with the sun because the sun is in Virgo, and the moon is under her feet, which means she has authority over the moon. And again, this is Mercury. We're talking about Mercury. And she is being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. This is giving birth to baby Mercury. Okay? And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. This is the age of Gemini. A red dragon, and remember, Gemini is India, and they have we talked about Shiva being Mercury, not Saturn, and he's red because it's an air sign. The reason they call it Saturn is because that's who he's imitating. And he's got the 7 chakras, the 10 ages that he's ruling, and the 7 crowns upon his head. So, this is the age of Gemini. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them down to earth. There are 3 air signs, and each air sign is eventually cast down to earth. So a 3rd part of the stars, he took Venus, which is Libra, in heaven, and is cast to earth as Isis in Taurus. The same with Virgo, earth sign. Mercury is cast into heaven. We're going to see that in just a minute. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. He was going to consume it. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up to God, Jupiter, and to his throne, Gemini and Sagittarius. Mutable cross. So the first part is the feminine axis of the mutable cross, and the second part is the masculine axis of the mutable cross. and he rules the world nations with a rod of iron. Let's take a look at this. So he's caught up into heaven, into Gemini, this child of the woman, and his job is to rule the nations with a rod of iron. And he's caught up with God. So we're talking about the mutable cross. There's the mutable cross. And here's the rod of iron. So this child is ruling now. And she brought forth the man-child, which to rule all the nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up to God, to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness. The wilderness is past the the fall equinox. To hit the fall equinox, you're in the wilderness for 3 ages, between the fall equinox and the winter solstice, for a time and half a times. Where she had a place prepared of God. Again, Jupiter is God in this sense. That's the God of this age. That they should feed her there 1,260 days, which is an age. And there was a war in heaven. Remember, 3 heavens. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found in heaven any more. So after Gemini, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He is cast out into the earth. So Gemini, Mercury and Gemini ruled in heaven. He was caught up into heaven. Now he's cast back down to earth in Virgo, and his angels were cast out with him. And remember that casting really happens as Peter's turned upside down, because he gets to rule for a short season. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, "Now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God." Now that's heaven saying that, right? Heaven is saying that. So now this word God is talking about Saturn and the power of his Christ, or his anointing. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Okay, I had to pause again. I'm not sure where I was, so I'm just going to start back at 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Aquarius, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his anointing. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. We've been through this. It's the water in Aquarius. It is blood in the Arabic. And by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. And that's how you open the crown chakra. Remember, you need a broken and a contrite heart. And you need to be empty. You want nothing from this world. You are seeking death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, which are Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, that is of Virgo and Pisces. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know that he hath but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child, Virgo. Remember, we've been through this, the three earth signs. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she should fly into the wilderness unto her place. Remember, from the fall equinox until the winter solstice is called the wilderness. Into her place where she is nourished for a times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth waters as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Floods or waters are people. Pisces, groupthink. He wants to get rid of the woman with the alabaster box, but we're told that her story will be told forever and ever. And the earth helped the woman. There are 3 earths, remember, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. A flood can be an invasion of people. Remember, groupthink, Pisces. Waters are people, so a flood of people is an invasion. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Or Thalem, the crown chakra. Now, we see Mercury as having the 2 serpents on his head, right? He's the twins. He's Castor and Pollux. He's hermaphroditic. He's the hermit. He's Hermes. He rules the pharmaceutical industry. And the pharmaceutical industry has a symbol. And that symbol is retrograde. It means poison. All of the leaders of the world, they worship Mercury. But remember, Mercury, which is money and drugs, is ruled by that rod of iron, right? Mars, which is the masculine axis of the cardinal cross. And they demonize Libra as Lucifer. They demonize Saturn as Satan, when the bad guys, the devil and Satan, are Mercury and Jupiter, the god of this world. Okay, I feel the need to keep going, so I'm going to do that. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his 10 horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy. Horns are powers. The 7 heads, again, are the 7 chakras, the 7 planets. The 10 is the 10 constellations, which this beast system has been ruling since the age of Sagittarius. And the beast I saw, which was likened to a leopard, that represents the Greek Empire and what we would call democracy. And his feet were the feet of a bear, which is Russia, we would consider communism. And his mouth was the mouth of a lion, which today we would recognize as Britain. And the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority, or the money system, the money, Mercury. And I saw one of its heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast, or the system, right? We saw well, his feet were as a bear. He was likened to a leopard, which is democracy and communism. It's a mix. It's a mixture of the two, which is kind of what we have here now. In the original documents of the United States, we were founded as a republic, not a democracy, but it has been seized. Now we are under this leopard with bare feet thing going on with the mouth of a lion. But remember, he's got 7 heads. And I saw one of his heads wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto beasts, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who's like unto the beast, and who's able to make war with him? Well, that beast has the rod of iron. He controls the war on both sides. You can't win. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. The clergy has been the mouthpiece in the past. The town criers. Now we have today's town criers are the media. So his mouth speaking great things is the media, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months, 40 and 2 moons, 42 degrees. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given to him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given to him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. Money rules the world. He made war with the saints, and we were overcome when the Federal Reserve took over, and we went into fiat currency, and we're no longer backed by gold. And all they that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose name are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world, from the age. If any man hath an ear, let him hear. Remember, the Lamb is Thalam, be the Lamb, Bethlehem, Thalam, Thalama. This blasphemy back over here is because he makes himself to be God. He sits in the seat of God claiming to be God. He has nothing original. All he does is imitate. He's repeat and repeat. He can only tell the same stories over and over again. There's nothing original. He's artificial. Now, if any man hath an ear, let him hear. Because we're moving out of grace and mercy. And we're moving into karma. One law, the law of equivalent exchange, rules in Aquarius. You will reap what you sow. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword, or the words, must be killed with the words. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast, or another system, coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. To me, this was like the Vatican system. He dresses like the lamb, he dresses like Balaam, but he speaks the words of the dragon. And he exercises all power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, they should make an image to the beast, which was wounded by a sword and did live, or wounded by the words. Remember, the mouthpieces, the media, Hollywood, all of that, even Bollywood. You need to know that that is the origin of Buddha, Mercury, Shiva, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as did not worship the image of the beast should be killed. To me, this is television, causing the image of the beast to speak, or radio, television. And he causeth all, both small and rich, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of the name. I want to talk about verse 17, because in the Greek, the sentence structure is different than what we have in our Western language, and the word ora is the word to. That no man might buy, to sell. That means own a company. It's you have to have a license. You have to have the number in the little card number in your right hand or in your forehead to go buy stuff to sell. A rich man can do it. A poor man can do it. Even the slaves can own a business. But you have to have the mark. You have to have a trademark, receive a trademark. And that's a symbol, it's a spell. That no man might buy to sell, save he had the trademark, or the name of the system, or the number of his name. You have a number and a symbol. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. It's an imitation. The number of man is 6. He's imitating the man. He imitates Aquarius. Remember, Gemini is mutable air. He makes fiat currency out of thin air. Okay? Let's see if we want to go to 14. And lo, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion. What does that mean? That means that Fomalhaut is rising in the spring equinox. And with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. They've got their pineal gland open. And I heard a voice from heaven, Aquarius, as the voice of many waters, people. Waters are people. And as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne. There's a new frequency coming through the sun, and before the 4 beasts and the elders, no man could learn the song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. You know, when you open your third eye, or you have near-death experiences, a lot of people talk about they hear music. They hear music, and it's undescribable. I can hear it in my head, but I couldn't explain it to you. But a new song, a new frequency, a new melody. These are they which were not defiled with women. Remember, you have to come through the straight and narrow gate. Mercury has 2 serpents, Kundalini rising, but they're coming in the wrong way. You have to come in through the heart, not through tantric sex. For they are virgins. They didn't come the other way. These are they which follow the Lamb, or Thalem, wheresoever he goeth. You follow Fomalhaut. And these were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and unto the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel, good news, to preach, that should be teach, unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and every kindred and tongue and people. And that's not what we have right now. What is spreading right now is the lie. And they're saying with a loud voice, fear. This word fear should be adore, be awestruck. It's awestruck. It's not fear. It's speechless without fear. To reverence God and give glory to Him, for the hour of judgment is come. And worship Him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of the waters. That made it all. Everything is mentioned here but fire. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, confusion is fallen, the great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Right now, Babylon is Rome. This power moves from one place to another. It moved from Cairo to Jerusalem. It moved from Jerusalem to Rome. And it is attempting to move from Rome to Lima, Peru, or Lima being the Lamb, the LM, the Lamb. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of Fomalhaut. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Thalem. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. That means when we come into the age of Aquarius. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may have rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. You'll get credit for what you do. Right now, there are too many people on the earth. These people in charge, they steal. They have nothing original. They steal the work of others. And whether your work be good or bad, it will follow you. In the next age, you will know even as you're known. When we all open our third eye, we're going to be telepathic. And you won't be able to hide anything from anyone. All your dirty little secrets are coming out. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, Aquarius, having on his head a golden crown, chakra, Saturn, and in his hand a sharp sickle, Saturn sickle, it's time. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And remember, earth now is Virgo in this age. It's mutable earth. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in the sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And remember who gets taken out first? The tares do. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, and he also having a sharp sickle. So we got two. And another angel came out from the altar, which had the power over fire. Here's our fire coming into play. The fire here on the fixed cross is the sun, So this is the angel of the sun. And he cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and the blood became out of the winepress, even unto the horse's bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. I need to pause and get a even unto the horse's bridle down here. That has to do with Pegasus and the memory. It has to do with Aquarius as well. Memory. That Pegasus represents memory. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. And this is for the end of this age. And I saw it was a sea of glass mingled with fire. So we've got the sea of Pisces. It's mutable. It's a sea of glass. It's mutable. But it's mixed with fire, which is Mars, war. And them that had gotten victory over the beast, over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God, or Saturn. They've opened their third eye. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb. Remember, Moses came out of Egypt. That makes Moses the right hand, or Aldebaran, the nail in the right hand of the Messiah. And they sang the song of the Lamb, or Thalem, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. That means what he says is what happens. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And again, these 7 angels are going to be the 7 chakras in the body. Your body, my body. As above, so below, as without, so within. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. That ever is Aquarius, and that ever is Capricorn. It means 2 ages. So that represents Saturn. So we're going to see the wrath of Saturn. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God. Another reason they really want us to quit smoking. It's part of the air sign. That's why the Native Americans smoke. Europeans were never meant to smoke. That plant was not for them. And they took the tobacco and gave it to the Europeans, and it gives them cancer. And they took the fire water, or the alcohol the Europeans were given, the barley, the beer barley, and they give it to the Native Americans, and they can't handle it. They cannot deal. They become very violent. They become alcoholics very easily. And so the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God, and from his power, that no man was able to enter the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. So this is preparing the world to open the third eye, that you can't go in the temple until the plagues are fulfilled. We're going to correct all the chakras. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So they're going to get grievous sores. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, or the people, and it became as blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. Also, the sea is also part of the Vatican. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became his blood. And I heard the angel of the waters saying, Thou art righteous, Zodiac, O Lord, which art, which was, and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. And they have shed the blood of the saints and the prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard, and these, I call them vampires, they indeed do drink the blood. And I heard another out of the altar saying, Even so, remember, Lord God Almighty, here's another name, true and righteous are thy judgments, stating that the Zodiac, who are supposed to be the righteous, the Jews, are not. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun. That's going to be your solar plexus. And the power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. So we're going to have a solar event. The sun's going to get really hot. Global warming. And men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of God, which had power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast. And his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. The seat of the beast in this age is Rome or Europe, and blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. They don't even recognize Gemini. Well, Gemini is the prince of the power of the air. The king of air is Aquarius. The prince is Mercury in Gemini. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. The Orient. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. You have the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. The butcher is the king, the false king. He starts the wars. The baker is the banker. He makes the dough. And the candlestick maker is the priest. You light the novena candle. He has the light. He shows the way. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of God Almighty. This Almighty references Thalum and the pineal gland. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place in the Hebrew tongue called Armageddon, or Megiddo. It's the valley of decision. Everybody today, we're being tested right now. We're in the valley of decision, and they only want to give you 2 choices. They want you to choose that lunar pillar of mercy or that solar pillar of severity. They don't even want you to know the center pillar even exists, the middle path, the straight and narrow. And the 7th angel sounded out his vial into the air, and there became a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done. And there were voices, thunders, and lightning, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, and so mighty an earthquake, and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came into remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, and every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God, that's the other god, Jupiter, Mercury, because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Remember, he's the prince of the power of the air. And 17. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy, with 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman, again, is Virgo, and scarlet is red. We already know this beast to be Mercury in Virgo, that Zodiac, and he's full of blasphemies because he claims titles that are not his own, and him having that 7-headed snake and the 10 horns of the 10 constellations. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a cup in her hand full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornications. And upon her head was written a name, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Again, we're talking about Rome. Again, this goes back all the way to the Orient. Really, all we've talked about here is Virgo and Mercury, but the flood switched everything. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore dost thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and the beasts that carry her are the system, which had 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast which thou was, is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, is not, and yet is. And here's the mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and another is not yet come. When he cometh, he must continue a short space. Remember, all of these are false representations. And the beast that was and is not, he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. So it's one of the chakras, but he's the 8th. And we are experiencing Mercury do that right now. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, or 10 kingdoms, 10 constellations, which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And that is the Zodiac we're under now. Saturn ruling 2, and their kingdom having the 10. These have one mind. They're under a hive mind, under lunar worship, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, unto the system. And they shall make war with the Lamb, with Balaam, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he said unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sittest are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. This is where we get that waters which thou sawest are the people. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. The other 10 kingdoms, they're going to turn on them. For God hath put this in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdoms unto the beast, unto the words of God shall be fulfilled. It's the other ages, the other teachings, the other ages, and they're all ruled by the mystery schools, which are the Masons. So the Masons hate the whore, and indeed they do make her naked, and they have consumed her, and the fire is coming. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Okay, I'm going to stop this here. I think we have a better, clear understanding of the who, what, where, when, why, and how. but the manipulation of the language is they have convinced everyone that there's one God and one evil, and that everything is simply duality, and that is the lie. Let me take you one more place. Okay, I want to take you one more place before we end this. 2 Thessalonians 2. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and by our gathering unto him. Remember, this Lord Jesus Christ is the anointing in your head when you open your pineal gland and you're walking in the land of milk and honey. That they not be soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you for any means, for that day shall not come except for there be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So there's a day coming that everybody's pineal gland is going to open. We're all going to do it. It's going to happen naturally when the spring equinox is hosted by Aquarius. But that day can't come till there's a falling away. That means the wheel turns. That means Taurus falls into the summer solstice. That means Aquarius falls into the spring equinox. That means Leo falls into the fall equinox. And it means Scorpio falls into the winter solstice. That turning, a falling away. And that man of sin be revealed. Sin is the moon, so I call it the man in the moon. But the man of sin is Mercury trying to pass himself off as Aquarius. Right? He's the Kundalini rising. He's coming through the wrong gate. He's coming in through the outdoor. He is the son of perdition. And it's funny because this word perdition, depending on what language you break it down in alchemy, it means the house of images. The house of images. He who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sitteth in the temple of God and showing himself that he is God. That's what Kundalini rising does. It opens the third eye without the thalamus. It's coming into the sheepfold over, they snuck in over the gate and come instead of coming through the straight and narrow. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know that with that withhold it, that it might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until it be taken out of the way. Who letteth? Do y'all know who letteth? Capricorn letteth. It's the sign of let there be. Capricorn is the sign of the God of creation that said, let there be light. So he who letteth is Saturn. It's the crown chakra. And now he who letteth until he be taken out of the way. And we have a false letteth. He's artificial. He's arty. He imitates. And he's the one that is let in this age, to where Mars is the thou shalt not. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. The spirit of the tongue, the mouth, the words. And no doubt, the brightness of his coming is brighter than anything I've ever seen. When it happened to me, he was brighter than the sun. The sun was like a dim light compared to his brightness. And that is a fact. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. After. With all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Actually, it's the lie, singular, but they both, a and the from the Greek, are the same. It means one, the lie. And what is the lie? It's the power, the prince of the power of the air is lying and telling him that he rules all the heavens, when all he rules is the atmosphere. He's coming in the wrong way. That they all may be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to God for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because God hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth. I don't add my channel. I don't believe in evangelism. I didn't pick astrology. It picked me. I didn't pick alchemy. It picked me. I didn't choose to do this. It chose me. And when I don't go along with it, my life becomes very chaotic and destructive on both sides. It's like I feel like I'm stuck between two warring gods in my life, the God of the flesh and the God of the spirit. And as long as I stay in alignment with the God of the spirit, then I'm fine. But if I fall out of that, I'm then in the hands of the other one, who absolutely hates me. The God of this world hates me. I've had a very, very hard life. Whereunto he called you by our good news, gospel, to the obtaining of the glory of our Lord. I'm going to call him the anointing of Thalem, or the thalamus. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. Now our Lord, anointed, even God, even our Father, so we're going to say Fomalhaut and Saturn, which hath loved us, has given us everlasting consolation in good hope through grace. Through grace, we come out of grace. Jupiter. See, Jupiter becomes good when all of them become good when they fall under the rule of Saturn. But when we move into the next two ages that are one age, Jupiter and Mercury have no part in them. They only rule the mutable cross, so they have no part in the next two ages. There's going to be no money or commerce as we know it. And there will also be no desires of the flesh. Comfort your hearts, Venus, and establish you in every good word and work. All things filter through the heart. I'm going to pause one more time. I absolutely love turning on Stellarium, and there's Fomalhaut, and there's the flock. So I want to show you this. The Virgin, Mercury, in the age of Virgo, gives birth to baby Mercury. Remember, she's the whore. She has the woman with the alabaster box who comes in and washes his feet, Regulus, with her tears and dries it with her hair. She anoints his feet with the alabaster box ointment, and the clergy or the priest are talking with the Christ, and they said, how can you let this woman touch you? She's a harlot. She's a whore. Well, the whore's pregnant, and she done give birth to twins. That's right, twins. And this ain't the Jesus, the way that we're taught in the church. We're told that man-child is Jesus. It's the story of Luke and Laura of Star Wars. Now let me tell you, this is why they're destroying Star Wars. Because this story ends with Luke, Pollux, the male aspect of the hermaphroditic Mercury, as the bad guy. He's the bad guy. You got Castor and Pollux. Apollo is Castor, and well, this is not Hercules. That's a lie. Hercules is definitely Ophiuchus. I don't know why they did that, but I can prove it. And then today in Pisces, we're back to, now she's the whore of Babylon. She's the mother of the evil man-child that rules the world in this age with the rod of Mars. Okay, I think all y'all understand all of that. So I'm just going to do what today looks like. Thank goodness Mercury is no longer combust of the sun today. It's made its 10 degrees mark. It's free from oppression. Venus in her own house. Again, I mentioned this when I was reading that about Venus being in Taurus, Venus ruling Taurus, and that hers the heart. You can get a cold heart of stone here. You have to be real careful. You need that heart to be light as air, or Libra, Venus in Libra, which they've demonized to no end. But the heart in air, this is considered the tribe of Dan, the serpent, the adder, and the way, but it's also the judge. The heart judges. The heart is the judge. So don't, but they've demonized Venus and they've demonized Saturn. And Mars is in bed with them. Everybody's in bed with them but Venus and Saturn. And it's sad, but it is what it is. It's an alchemical process. It's something that needs to happen. We are in transmutation now, almost finished. When we come into Aquarius, all the dross will be washed away, and we will be transmuted, alchemically transmuted into our purest essence. That's what an alchemical circle does. And the Zodiac is nature's alchemical magic circle. I know this can be confusing. Wow. So right now we have the moon between Saturn and Jupiter, with Mars, or our emotions are in direct alignment with Fomalhaut. Jupiter's also conjunct Pluto right now. So we have this Pluto-Jupiter conjunction, and these two are fixing to go retrograde. Saturn in Saturn's house, Jupiter in Jupiter's house, with the subconscious, Pluto, and the moon right now between them. Of course, this is going to move along in a few hours. Lot of transitioning going on. Going to have a lot of back and forth this year. You're not going to know. It's going to be hard to tell who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. It really is. It's going to get ridiculously crazy. And this is an election year, a transition year, a transmutation year, a year of the changing of the guard. So much is going on. I've been talking about it for over a decade now, that this year is the year everything changes. So if you think you're just going to slide right through it and your life is not going to become an upheaval, you're mistaken. You need to prepare for this, and the thing you need to prepare is your heart and Uranus, your conscious mind. And it's in the house of purification right now. It's in the house of you purify your thoughts. You know, I was still am part of a near-death experience research program of a group of a bunch of us. And I found it very odd that children that were recalling near-death experiences and different people from around the world, what happened to them when they died is what they believed when they were alive. That's what happened to them. And we're pumped full of all these stories, these lies. We've been told everything but the truth. I mean, we've been told every lie imaginable, but we have not been told the truth. And I just clearly read that the good God sent the lie. He allowed the lie. He allowed them to believe the lie because they had no love in the truth. They don't want the truth. They want power, control, fame, fortune, money. They want to live the good life. They want to leave a legacy. But they don't give a damn about truth. And remember, in palmistry, which is also part of this, everything's connected to everything else. In palmistry, it is the little finger and the index finger. The little finger is Mercury, the index finger is Jupiter. When you hold those two fingers up, you're literally venerating the god of this world age, which is Mercury, Jupiter, and the mutable cross, the transmutation, the change. And they are necessary for us becoming. And they're not really the bad guy. When you really find the truth, you realized they had to play that part for us to become. We are becoming. We had to have an adversary. We had to be put in duality. To find the way out of duality, you find the middle pillar. It is between the two. And what they have done in this age is shove the two together. They have taken the feminine axis of the mutable cross and the masculine axis of the mutable cross, the two twin towers, and they made them one. They are hermaphroditic. And they hate the woman. But they serve, they're serving Mercury because Jupiter can be benevolent. Jupiter can be the most benevolent. He is the god of mercy and grace. But Jupiter, Peter the Jew, is being crucified upside down. So, right now, there is no mercy and grace. None. Everything in this world is ruled by your digits. How much are you worth? Your credit score. You're being scarred. And it's all by Mercury is taking over the whole freaking thing. Money rules everything on this planet. They don't care about the words of any gods. Money's God here. Who's got the digits? And now they want to move us to a digital system so that there really is no money. And that they can put on us what any digit they want us to have. They can take our digits away with the push of one button. They can make you millionaires or paupers by a single stroke of the keyboard. And that's the control they want. They want to control your thoughts, your every action. You are sheep. You are property. They own you. You are a debt slave. The whole freaking world. And they do it. Here's a good one. This is just so trippy to me. Here's how they do it. They do it all in symbolism. There's your two pillars, and the S is the secret. It's the secret of two pillars. It's the secret of duality. And that's what they use. It's the two serpents of Mercury. Alright. I'm ready to wrap this up here. And to do that, I'm gonna finish what I started in the beginning, which was my personal update about what all's going on with me. Yeah, I'm getting really tired of fighting YouTube, and I'm fixing to open up a Patreon account. I will still post here on YouTube. I will continue to post the rest of the charts, but I put them in, I'm fixing to move them to Celestial Voyages, because I don't know what they're going to do with my channel. They haven't decided yet. I'm I'm not breaking any rules right now, but as far as they're concerned, I'm not in compliance where they want me to be, which is they want my channel monetized. YouTube's not making any money off of me because I don't run ads on my channel, even though I qualify for it. I don't want their filthy freaking lucre. I would rather starve first. But even though basically the same companies run everything, and I've thought about moving to Patreon. That way I'm not dealing with PayPal the way they're trying to have. PayPal's hassling me right now. Even though they run Patreon, I'll be under a different set of rules than I am here on YouTube trying to use PayPal. That decision's coming quick. I'm in the process of getting everything together now. Just getting my internet has been a nightmare. I had one guy come out in the pouring down rain and he ran the cables, and then he left, and I had to wait another few weeks, and the guy came and he dug the hole. He dug up the yard they had to bury the cable. I thought they were going to run a pole, but they buried the cable to the pole so they could run it to the house. Somebody had cut it. And he buried the wrong cable. He buried the cable that had been cut. So they had to come back and dig another hole and run the cable again. So basically right now I'm waiting on them to just come connect. Now that all the cables are run, the guy has to come back and do that work. I get 5 gigabytes on my hotspot a month. That's all I get, is 5 gigabytes. The charts I upload are 3 gigabytes or better, so that don't leave me very much. But we do have 3 phones among us, so everybody needs a little bit of that time to either get something off the internet, watch, or whatever. But once they come back and hook it up and get us going to full speed, I'm supposed to be able to live stream. And that's where I really want to take this channel. I want to make it more interactive with you guys so that we can talk back and forth in a live setting with everybody instead of trying to leave a comment that I never see. I don't even like opening my Gmail. It makes me cry. I'm gonna start another, for the new channel on Patreon, I'm starting a new email and we'll go from there as well. But I will not take this down. YouTube, I will continue to upload on YouTube. I think I'm just going to make the videos and upload them on Patreon first. I'll let them sit on Patreon for a few weeks, and then I'll migrate a copy of it over to YouTube. So that way, if we'll see how it goes on what I'm going to be allowed to post and what kind of pressure they're going to put me under. But Patreon is going to run ads. They're going to make the money on those ads, but all you have to do is ad block to stop that. But it will be a subscription based. I think $5 a month would be more than sufficient. I don't want to rob anybody. I'm not looking to get rich. But I think $5 a month would be more than fair. And I would be able to upload more videos coming up because everything's just now falling into place. But I'm still leery because I know so much change is coming between these two planets. And here's my advice on you for the rest of the year. You need to start doing what you believe, what you know to be true, what you want your life to be. Not what it is, what you want it to be. You need to start walking that path. Because whatever you're doing this year, whatever chakra you're letting rule your life this year is going to be imprinted on you for the next 20 years. Come the winter solstice. So when I tell you we're in Armageddon, we're in the valley of the decision. War is happening now. The war is within you. The war is for your heart and your mind. People are scared to death thinking there's going to be a world war and they're going to kill everybody. They're not going to kill you. You are the prize. You're not. They're after your loyalty, your allegiance. You are the prize. They would only want to seek to kill you if you refused allegiance. And there's nothing in this world age that's really fit to have. I've walked in the kingdom. I know what's waiting for us. And it's nothing here compares to what we have coming in the next age. Nothing. It's all fake. It's all copies. It's just carbon copies. It's not even freaking real. Now, another thing I want to say, because I did get some of the comments from some of you who have migrated from Matt's channel. I got a couple of you that are upset that I'm not a flat earther. Because you see me doing astrology, you automatically assume that I think in the terms of astrology that the sun and the stars are what we're told they are. I'm eyeball Earth. Let me explain that. But I've said it in the beginning, I'm going to clarify it now. I believe the Earth is the third eye. It's represented by an eyeball. So we live on flat Earth under the dome in the iris. So there is a flat Earth. We live in the eye. And the pupil is the North Pole. It's the entrance to hollow Earth. You can't go to the South Pole. It's beyond the white wall ball. It's where the ganglia connects the eye to the brain. So I am flat Earth, round Earth, hollow Earth, and eyeball Earth, because if you look at it from all three perspectives, that it's round, it's domed, it's flat, and it's hollow, you're talking about an eyeball. Period. It's just you people on flat Earth, all you can see is under the dome in the iris. People in the hollow Earth, they can't see beyond anything. They just want to go in. That to them, it doesn't matter if it's flat or round. It's hollow. And then the round earthers in battle with the flat earthers. To me, the universe, these stars here, they're us. We are looking at the inside of the mind of God. When you close your eyes, you see these little white speckles of light floating around in the dark. In your eyelids. Same thing as the stars. Same thing. And so we're inside the mind of God. This is his right eye. The moon is his left eye. And in the center, the earth, between the two, is the third eye, which is what we're sitting on. The earth itself is becoming. Not only are we going to change as a creation when the sun starts emanating the frequency of Aquarius, the earth is going to change. The other planets will change. There will be life on the other planets once again. There will be water on Mars. In the age of Aquarius, the left hand is Antares, or the Tares. It's a great eagle, but it's water. This is Mars in water. Right now we've been living in a dead Mars, a Mars of fire, Aries. But there's, not only is there water on Mars, there will be life on Mars. Whether it's a real construct or a fake one, I don't care. Makes no difference to me what you want to call it. I'm just telling you, this script is alive. And the elite have known how to read it forever. And they know that they can simply control it by changing the images or convincing you the words mean a different thing by casting spells on us, or getting them to cast on ourselves, actually, is what they do. They don't even have to do it to us. We're doing it to ourselves. But the biggest thing going on right now is this Saturn-Jupiter battle. The greatest thing you can do for yourself is to have a clear vision and focus of what you want out of this life. Because come this conjunction, that's exactly what you're going to get for the next 20 years. Don't be in a state of disharmony. Try to find a place of harmony. And the biggest piece of advice I can give you, if you want the world and you want riches and fame, well, you'll get it. But all that's temporary. But what we have offered to us for opening the third eye in the next, to me, when we enter Aquarius, you're going to be born that way. It isn't you're going to have to open your third eye. You're just going to be born that way. We're starting to see children manifest that now. And what do? They want to run out and medicate them. Let's get Mercury in there right away, and let's throw down some poison on the situation. And that's what they're doing. And they want to vaccinate everybody. And what's in the vaccinations? I don't know how long this video is going to last. I'm shocked as many of them has lasted as they do. I don't think I'm a threat to them. I'm not big enough to be a threat. But like I've said many times, I don't think I'm doing this for even my generation. What's going down on this channel is for tomorrow's world, not this one. But I am setting the record straight. And if you think you can prove me wrong, by all means, please do so. I'm still open to learning. But everything that I show you, I'm getting from more than one witness. I can do it in alchemy. I can do it in astrology. I can do it in the Bible. I can do it in the Quran. I can do it in palmistry. I can do it on the 3 pillars or the 3 paths, Kabbalah or Freemasonry, because they're all the same frickin' thing. And it's all about symbology. Get your symbols straight. Jupiter's upside down right now, and he is in alignment with Pluto, which is your subconscious, which deals with symbolism. So get your symbolism straight. Get your heart straight. You know, in all of the other traditions, the Aquarius, he's the water bearer, and this is water. But in the New Testament, he's crucified on the cross, and this is where he gets stabbed by the centurion, and this is blood. This is blood. And blood runs to the horse's bridle. The horse's bridle is here, right above his head. And it's the water of life. This is the water of life. Keep your emotions in check, Mars. Don't let anybody piss you off. Rise above it. You have to overcome it. You rise above it. Pulling in that air sign. Hot air rises, cold air sinks. Remember that. You know, and that's what all this is about. Pegasus, the upper house, is about knowing. This age is about knowing. And Pegasus is remember. It's your memory. The hippocampus part of the brain is the memory. And the stars here in the Greek talk about the hippocampus. So the rider on the right horse is the thalamus. When you open your thalamus to the third eye, you remember the rider on the white winged horse. You remember. So the knowledge is not something new. It's just something we've forgotten. And we don't have to learn it. We just have to remember it. And you need to, like deja vu. It means I remember me. I remember me. Or I remember you. Vu. Deja vu. I remember this. Do it again. Alrighty, I've had several of you ask me about a mailbox. I don't have one yet. Everything around here is still closed. They won't let us in the post office. They won't let us in City Hall. You can't even pay your frickin' bills. I can't get a driver's license. I haven't been able to do anything since I've been here. Everything, all the government facilities are shut down with like the mail runs, but there's no public access. They're not letting us in at all. And so I don't know when they do. Then I'll get a mailbox, and so that you all can send whatever it is you need to send. Just keep in touch. Your letters, your donations, and your gifts. I'm sorry I can't post my address. It's just dangerous. I learned that the hard way. And I no longer live by myself. So I have to consider the others in the household as well. But we're all doing fine. It's been crazy weather here. We've had a lot of thunderstorms, a lot of hail, and tornadoes flying around. The last month has been just some crazy weather. And you know, I've lived in Oklahoma before, but I was in the mountains. I'm kind of more of in the plains, like on a savanna. And so yeah, those storms are just coming rolling through here. But I like it. There were no storms in Las Vegas. There was no rain in Las Vegas. So to me, I'm actually enjoying it. I love it. We're starting a little garden this week. Now that we're able to get that done. We had a lot of cleaning up to do. And I want to thank you, those of you who donated. We've actually got beds now. We found some bunk beds on Facebook Marketplace. And we were able to go get those. So, hey, we're off the floor. So, we're moving up in the world around here. It's slow but surely, but we're getting there. We never could afford new anyway. We didn't need new. We just needed something clean and safe. And that's what we got. Kelly couldn't be more happy. She's happy to have a house that's all hers and a backyard that's all hers. She loves being able to go outside and just lay in the grass, which is something she never got to do in Las Vegas or California for that matter. So, you haven't seen a happier girl. She goes through the house at night and checks on all of us to make sure everybody's in the bed. She goes from one to the other. She's become very motherly. She very protective, and she really likes my cousin. I call her the other mother. Kelly usually sleeps with me, and lately she's been sleeping with my cousin. And she'll get up at the wee hours of the morning and come crawl in the bed with me. But she'll stay with her most of the night, which I find shocking. She's so codependent. But I am pleasantly surprised that she has the ability you can connect with other people besides me. She generally likes men, but she's really taken to my cousin, which we have a lot in common. A lot. But very comfortable with her. So we're all getting along really great. There's been no arguments, no fights, no anything like that. We all seem to be quite in sync. This all kind of happened naturally. Where we ended up was kind of halfway between where she was and from where I was. And we kind of met in the middle. And it still leaves her close enough to her son and grandchild that she gets to see them occasionally. Alright, people. I love y'all so much. I really do. My channel has come a long way. Like I said, bigger than I ever thought it would be. I was happier with my channel when it was just a few of us. Because I knew all of you personally. And we could talk with one another. And I'm hoping we can get that back when I'm able to live stream. That we'll have that open again, and we can chit-chat back and forth, and I can get to know more of you more personally. And you can ask your questions without getting buried in the comments that, honestly, I never get to see most of them. By the time I get back on the internet, it's just been days or weeks, and they're buried. They're just buried. I got new subs coming on every day. A lot of older videos are being watched. You ask me questions about, and I literally, I have no idea what those videos are about. You have to recollect my memory. What am I talking about there? For me to answer that question. Because it's all scattered. There is no order, rhyme to the reason. There's no rhyme and reason. It seems out of order, and I think that's on purpose. I think I've not been allowed, it seems like, to sit down and put this in order. I've tried, and every time I've tried, it's been an utter failure. So, and because I was trying to play evangelist, I'm trying to play a role that's not mine. All I'm supposed to do is plant these seeds. I try to plant them in your hearts and in your minds. I try to plant them on good fallow ground. I try to fallow the ground before I plant the seed in there. Prepare you for this seed, because it's hard. It's hard with a lot of Christians to let go. It's hard to wake up and realize that you've been pulled to the pit and altered. The altar is at the pulpit. They pull you to the pit and they alter you. And it's all a spell. It's all a dream. To me, God is asleep and He's dreaming. And that's why the sky's dark. It's like a toroidal feel. It's dark on the inside, but it's light on the outside. But we all wake up soon. When God wakes up, we wake up. Everybody's in a sleep stupor since the first age of Jupiter, who gave birth to his son, Mars, and Mercury. That's why you have MMJ. Everything is MMJ or MLK. MLK is the Hebrew lettering for the king. ML, Mel, the spirit of the king, MLK. They do Martin Luther King. They do a lot of them. Got milk. Yeah, that's an alchemical lettering for the milk and honey of the pineal gland. You get your crown, you got milk. Yeah, that's what they're saying. But in an evil, sadistic way. See, these people under Mercury that adorn Mercury, or adore him, or worship him, or whatever, they don't want to open their thalamus, to open the pineal gland. So they take it from the blood of the people. They torture them to the point of death. When we die, our pineal glands open. And then they drink that blood because they don't want to open their own. So they take it from the sheeple. And that's the ugly that's going on in the world right now. And it's very sad, but it must happen. We have to go through this. We don't have a choice. That's like trying to have a baby without getting pregnant. And I know what I said is going to freak out a lot of people about the man-child and the virgin, and y'all think it's the good guy. Y'all think it's the Savior. I'll say again, these books were not written for us. They were written by the elite, for the elite. And you need the only words that have the authority of the truth are the red words. And they've been manipulated with symbology. But we can read through that. But those black and white words are Masonic. And these Masons, they try to play off like they're the stone builders of Egypt. And they carry all this symbolism, but they're fake. They're not black and white Egypt. They're black and white Pisces, Virgo. They're imposters. Every freaking one of them. And they know not who they worship. And I will leave you with this from the red words. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews, Judah, the Son, the fixed cross. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. But ye know not what ye worship. You have no idea who you've been serving,